Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be talking about Jaylen Brunson and how he completely saved the future of the New York Knicks. It was crazy in itself that Brunson came to the Knicks on a cheap deal. He had over 50 players making more money than him last season. That was in itself insane. Brunson comes and he leads the Knicks to the playoffs. Of course, they get out of the first round against the Cleveland Cavaliers and they fight to the very end against a good Heat team that went 6 games. That, again, in itself was awesome. That was the coolest thing that has happened in the Knicks since 2013. So we're talking about a decade. But then Brunson, in his second season as a Knick, has an MVP type of season. You can make the case that Jaylen Brunson should have won MVP. Now, the Knicks won 50 games, so that was never going to happen, but Brunson was the most valuable player to the Knicks because OG got hurt, Julius Randle got hurt, Mitchell Robinson was hurt basically the entire season, and then Boyan ended up getting hurt, but overall, all these guys were out. Brunson steps in and puts on an absolute show. When Brunson didn't play, the Knicks did not look like an NBA level basketball team. And that's not to say the Knicks don't have a lot of talent, because they do. But when Brunson wasn't out there, I was like, what the hell is this? When Brunson was out there, even without any of his starters, the Knicks legitimately looked incredibly good. So again, Brunson completely saved the Knicks franchise. Julius Randle, I'm about to talk about him in a second. Leon Rose, these guys deserve a lot of credit too. But Brunson, he's the best player on this roster. He's, in my opinion, the best athlete in all of New York. And of course, now he's on a massive pay cut. So Brunson, he was eligible for, what's 156 plus 113? I probably should know that as a grown man. I don't. But Brunson, he turned down 113 extra more million if he had just waited the next season. Now, of course, yeah, he could have got injured, and Isaiah Thomas, that happened to him, where he waited and then got injured and screwed himself. But Brunson, let's just be real here, he could have waited and took that money, and then the Knicks would have been battling with a second apron, which would have essentially meant that they would not be able to upgrade the roster because Julius Randle is a guy who's in the final year of his contract. He's got a player option. Mitch Robinson is going to need a new contract. Mikal Bridges is going to need a new contract. Hart and Devo are locked up, which is good, but overall the Knicks would have had basically no flexibility, and that wasn't going to win a championship. So now Brunson taking a pay cut, he gets his money, takes care of his family and him, everything, and now his buddies get paid, and the Knicks are going to have a lot more wiggle room. But yeah, it's just awesome how a top 10 player in basketball is making roughly only 22% of the Knicks total cap space over the next 3-4 seasons. That just doesn't make any sense. Like LeBron James, for example, just took, technically he didn't take a max contract, he took $3 million less of a max contract. Jaylen Brunson's 27 years old, in the prime of his career. He had a top 5 season in basketball, and here he is doing what's best for the organization, and that's, again, giving them wiggle room to win a championship. The Knicks haven't won a championship in 50 years. I grew up my entire life a Knicks fan, and if you're my age, or not even my age, if you're older than me, because 50 years, I'm 25, so if you're 49, right, you haven't seen the Knicks win a championship. And I used to get made fun of it my entire life growing up. It's like, oh, you're a Knicks fan, poverty franchise. And they were right. The Knicks were a joke. I sat through all those games, guys, where we won 17 games. I watched every single Knicks game. Man, I love the Knicks. There was one time in high school where it was the homecoming dance, and the Knicks played that night, so I didn't go. That's how freaking much of a diehard Knicks fan I am. But that wait, right, makes the reward that much sweeter. Because us diehard Knicks fans, because I know you guys listening were the same way. You watched those teams. They sucked ass, but here we are, coming off a 50-win season, bringing in Mikal Bridges. Julius Randle's healthy. Mitchell Robinson's healthy. Hopefully he can stay healthy, because that's been his issue. He hasn't played in over 66 games twice. He's done it just once in his career, and Mitch is, again, he's been in the league for years now. So we just need a team that can go out there and compete with Boston. And essentially what the organization did was build a team that can beat Boston. The Knicks constructed a team that has multiple wing defenders. They've got OG, they've got Bridges, Devo and Hart are good defenders. Mal McBride's an amazing defender. And then you've got Jaylen Brunson and Julius Randle, who are pretty average defenders, but man, are they elite as they get offensively. And then Mitchell Robinson can rebound the basketball, because the Knicks, they essentially get their bread and butter from rebounding the basketball offensively and getting extra looks, or just going up and dunking it, which is why Mitch is so important to this team. It's why Precious Achiuwa and the Knicks, as of right now, are in talks about a new contract. Precious is going to be Randle's backup, because again, we just need flexibility, and that wouldn't have happened if guys weren't taking less money, right? The Knicks are already pretty hard capped right now, which is why you haven't seen them go out and make a trade for a guy like who's an example? I don't want to say Robert Williams II, but maybe a Brook Lopez, right? If the Knicks had a lot more flexibility, they could just trade for Brook Lopez, and now they have Mitch and Brook Lopez, and that would be scary as hell. But they can't do that because they don't have the money for that. And also, they're thinking about the future, right? It's not just an all-in move, like just all chips on the table. No, the Knicks aren't trying to win one championship; they're trying to win 2 or 3 or 4 championships, right? Because again, winning more championships is better than winning just one. And if we were to win just one with Brunson, I would shake your hand right now. That would be awesome. But again, the Knicks are constructed to compete for the next 5 years. Philadelphia, if they don't win the championship next season, they're screwed because Paul George and Joel Embiid, these guys are injury prone. They're not getting any younger. Tyrese Maxey's a stud, but come on, man. Now the Knicks, like Randall's what, 29? Brunson's 27. Like everybody's in the prime of their career. Randall's only getting better. He literally was coming off of his most efficient season before the shoulder injury. Jaylen Brunson's coming off of his best season. Dante DiVincenzo is coming off of his best season. Josh Hart's coming off of his best season. So, see, I'm sounding like a broken record, but that's the thing about the Knicks. The crazy thing is that Brunson studied championship organizations, Derek Jeter in the Yankees, who you guys know very well, Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, and Tom Brady of the New England Patriots. Screw the Patriots, am I right? But hate those guys. But overall, still, Tom Brady won a lot of championships. He took pay cut year after year because all he cared about was winning. Jaylen Brunson reminds me a lot of Tom Brady. Now, Tom Brady's probably the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. Jaylen Brunson is not the best player to ever play basketball, but his mindset is absolutely critical. Because today's NBA, everyone's trying to get theirs. Like Bradley Beal, for example. What's Bradley Beal's contract? I mean, Bradley Beal is a hell of a player. He's not as good as Jaylen Brunson, but like, let's just go look at Bradley Beal's contract. So Bradley Beal signed a 5-year, $251 million contract. That is just absurd. I mean, that's an average annual of what, 50.2 million. Jaylen Brunson, again, guys, is on a 4-year, $156.5 million contract. I mean, Brunson left $30 million over the next 3 years on the table. Just said, here, keep it, help me win championships. Like, that's just awesome. That's a mindset that you don't see very often because everyone's just trying to get theirs. But Brunson knows that if I want to win a championship, I have to do this, because if Brunson just took the money, he's actually making the Knicks worse, even though he's deserving of it. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, go get your bag, go get your worth. But again, Brunson, he's already taken care of. He's made a lot of money, and he's playing with his best friends. He's playing in New York, which he said himself, his sources close to Brunson said that he considers the Knicks his family. I mean, this is a real bond. I mean, you don't just leave that money on the table unless it's a real bond, right? So Brunson, he's done everything right. The question is, what the hell is going to happen with the rest of this team, right? Because, Mitch Robinson, we talked about his health. Julius Randle, what can we get out of him? Can Randle get off to a better start than he did last season? The first 13 games were terrible for Randle. I didn't think he was in the right mind or in the right shape, but man, Randle in the second half of the season made the All-Star team. If Randle didn't get injured, probably makes All-NBA. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that, but he was that good. I mean, Randle was literally unstoppable. I mean, the numbers he was putting up, the guy was putting up like 26 and 9 a game, bro. 5 assists, good efficiency, 50 from the field, over 50 from the field. And it's also going to be the backup point guard, right? I talked about this, and a lot of Knicks fans are starting to resonate with it. Miles McBride is not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. I don't care if he's listed as a point guard on the depth chart. He's a shooting guard. Tyler Kulik is our backup point guard. When Jaylen Brunson's not running the offense, who's going to be in the game? It's going to be Tyler Kulik. He's going to play 9 to 13 minutes a game. He's going to run the second unit as a rookie, which is essentially unheard of for Coach Tibb. We know he doesn't like to develop young players, but Tyler Kulik's not an ordinary young player. He's 23, so he has a lot of collegiate basketball experience under his belt, but it's also the way he sees the floor. He can shoot the basketball. He's a pesty defender. He likes to get in your space, in your bubble. So yeah, this roster looks incredible. I mean, I just can't complain.